I don't normally do this for my videos, but maybe for this one time, I'll tell you how I discovered this show. So I was doom scrolling YouTube shorts, and then suddenly a video pops up of a robot getting use your imagine. It's getting ripped by a rock. Fortunately though, it cut off before the climax, but for some reason my pebble-sized brain decided to look up the video. And well, to sum it up, the video is about like a group of rocks showing up to beat up a robot. But then like a rock shows up and puts the robot on the ground, and well, he pulls out his shit and rips her, and then another rock shows up and forces the robot to give him, and then another rock shows up and fucking busts all over the robot, and then this process is like continue for like 2 whole minutes. And then finally, like, the robot gets saved and shit. The end. So, I guess this is the introduction to the show. I guess. Of course, this wouldn't be a video essay without me explaining what the topic of the video is. My Life as a Teenage Robot was a show that aired on Nickelodeon from 2003 to 2009, which of course that means that it aired for 3 seasons. Yeah, this show wasn't really treated well by Nickelodeon, let alone it wasn't even acknowledged that much. Like, this show was kind of like the middle child of like Nickelodeon shows if you think about it. The show stars, well, obviously a teenage robot named Jenny Wakeman, who was created to save planet Earth from danger, but more or less she wants to live out her current days as, well, a teenager. Now of course there's more characters like Brad, Tucker, and Sheldon, but we'll get to them later on. Because I'm going to explain, 1, the elements of what made the show good, because guess what, I like this show. And 2, I guess talk about the episodes a little bit, and 3, my thoughts and feelings. So without further ado, I'm a guy who likes comedy stuff, you know, Naked Gun, Austin Powers, Mr. Bean, shit like that. So we're gonna talk about the humor of the show first. And the show is actually funny.
I better go take a bath. Robots don't take baths, do they? Huh? Scrub your back? Huh? Oh.
I gotta go.
What's your hurry, Sally? I mean, Jenny.
I wouldn't say it's Ed, Edd and Eddy level type of funny, or yes, I'm 100% serious, Powerpuff Girls type of funny.
Why shouldn't you put a toaster in a bathtub full of water?
Because your toast would get soggy.
But it still gets the job done. There's some moments that made me chuckle. As for the animation though, this might be a bit controversial, but I think it solos both Ed, Edd and Eddy and Powerpuff Girls combined. Like, dude, and straight up in some shots of some episodes, it straight up looks pretty great, and like probably like the top 10 greatest shots in animation history. Like, for example, in the 2nd episode, it begins with like a shot that like looks like it was taken inside of a Mountain Dew can, and I mean that in a positive way. And there is a reason why the backgrounds and characters look perfect. The animators would first do the background, and then they would decide what color the character should be in the said background. And once they decided on a color, then, well, they drew the character. Then we get to the music, and I'm gonna be honest, it's actually pretty fire.
5 o'clock, get a call to go blading at the skate park down by the mall.
I know what that song is. It's Alan Waker Faded.
I forgot to mention that the animation style is kind of like 1950s-ish, and the music is no different to that. But it also has that futuristic, funk-ish style at the same time. That results in probably one of the most fire soundtracks for a cartoon in history.
Just when I thought I should go away, I found a brand new reason to stay. They need me.
And last but not least, let's get to the characters, and to say the least, it's probably the most interesting and complicated section of the elements. The first character I'll talk about is XJ9. or as she wants to be known as, Jenny Wakeman. One good thing she has going for her is that she's very nice to pretty much every single person she meets, even her only OnlyFans subscriber.
Hey there, Jenny. No doubt you've heard about the Sadie Hawkins dance. You know, girls ask the boys.
Don't bother, Sheldon. Mom already told me, no boys.
I'm invincible. Oh, I'm invincible.
She also has built-in powers to do, you know, saving citizens, fighting criminals, while also being held at gunpoint to do it.
Oh, if this D-class dingus destroys the Earth, Mom will dismantle me.
You know, that's great and all. That's very good stuff, but she also has a bad side. For example, the word teenager is in the show's title, so of course there's gonna be moments where Jenny has her moments of her basically saying, I can live on my own, and you can't do anything about it, Mom. And also some of the show's most cringiest moments have her involved in it.
Swinging? And me cool?
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
But you know what, that kind of revolves to it being good because, you know, at least it has personality and flavor. Anyways, we gotta move on to my boy Brad over here.
Ladies, please. The Brad loves all his girls.
Shut your fucking...
Season 1 Brad, he was like the most nonchalant but also the most badass character. And then slowly just became a dumbass.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! Blink, motherfucker!
It's like if they took Brad and they just publicly executed him. Like, there can't be any other explanation as to why Brad is a dumbass in the last 2 seasons. Other than that though, I don't really have much to say about Brad. So, like, let's move on to Tucker. He reminds me of myself. And that's why I don't like him. Don't have a lot to say about him. His character is just your typical little brother character cliche, so... Then there's Sheldon. Oh boy. Forget what I said about Jenny. This man single-handedly has the most cringiest moments in the entire show. But then again, it's like if The Room was a character. He is so unlikable and unfunny that it goes back around to being so funny. And that's why he's my favorite character. You can go fight me in the comments all you want about it. For example, he has a crush on Jenny. Not the school crush type. The type where he really wants that piece of robot pussy. And I could go on and on about how Sheldon could beat Thanos in a fight, but like, we gotta move on. And finally, there's Nora Wakeman, and let's just say I just finished my gooning session for her.
Remind me to show you my science friction swimsuit issue sometime.
Again, not much to say about her because she's your typical mom character. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single character in the show because A, they're either like too simple, or B, you already know what type of character they are by their appearance alone. Now let's talk about the 3 episodes I selected for this video. So yeah. It Came From Next Door is the first episode I'll talk about because, well, it's the show's first ever episode. Brad and Tucker play a game of catch, which obviously that ends up in the ball ending up in Mrs. Wakeman's house. So Tucker tries to get the ball, which he does by XJ9 giving him the ball, and that makes him piss his pants.
I'm gonna die with no bitches. Kareen's gonna kill me.
So Tucker tells Brad that there's a robot inside Mrs. Wakeman's house, and Brad, being the absolute gigachad that he is, decides to investigate. Meanwhile, Mrs. Wakeman scolds XJ9, Jenny, because a meteor that could destroy Earth is coming and Jenny hace nada. Pinche clenker, haz algo, puta verga.
Chinga tu madre, hijo de la chingada. Ponte a hacer algo de que hacer, cabrón.
Then my boy Brad finally shows up and he convinces Jenny to hang out with him and Tucker. While this is happening, the meteor just gets too dangerous and so Jenny sets out to destroy it, while accidentally bringing Tucker with her. She struggles for a bit, but then she finally manages to destroy the meteor. Then she comes back to Earth, where Mrs. Wakeman is finally convinced that her own robot can hang out with humans. Side note, can we just talk about how Tucker managed to breathe in space? That's just amazing. Overall, the episode is a really solid introduction to the characters. Like, from the get-go, from just this episode alone, we already know how these characters act. And don't even get me started on the animation. It's just already pretty great. So yeah, a really great pilot that starts off a really great show. The next episode I'll talk about is Class Action. And you might be saying, Lofian, isn't this episode just your average new kid goes to new school? And to that I say, how about you shut your mouth, because I'm going to talk about this anyways. The episode starts off with a really cool cinematic shot of Nora just dropping off her daughter at school. After one mom embarrasses daughter cliche moment, Jenny tries to fit into the rest of the kids, in which she fails immediately, breaking every single school material in existence, which, to be fair, she does that by accident. She's even tricked into speaking into the announcement speakers by the Crust Cousins, which is probably the lamest name for a duo I have ever heard in history.
I've come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking wife. That's right. He took his hedgehog fucking quilly dick out and he pissed on my fucking wife. Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a small dick. It's the size of this walnut except way smaller.
At lunch, Brad tells Jenny to open up more, which she literally does that. This makes the Crust Cousins think that Jenny's trying to sabotage their popularity, and so they sabotage her quote-unquote back in chemistry class, which results in the entire school on fire. But fortunately though, Jenny with a little help from Brad manages to save everyone, including the Crust Cousins. And after a cliche fake out death scene, the police suspect Jenny of doing it, which she kind of did, I guess. But surprisingly though, the Crust Cousins come to Jenny's defense, and after finding a hair clip in Jenny's hand, the police take away the Crust Cousins instead. And the day is safe thanks to the Jenny Wakeman. This is yet again another really solid episode. It introduces a lot more major characters than the last episodes. There's just one more missing character that just appears in the very next episode. And again, the animation is really good for this episode being one of the very first few episodes of the series. And better yet, in my opinion, I think the plot's even more better than the first episode. So overall, a very good continuation. The third and final episode I'll talk about is The Price of Love, which in my opinion is probably Sheldon's most iconic appearance. And you'll see why. The episode begins with the most Chris Chan looking scene of all time, which is then followed by
Jenny's gonna be my wife! Yahoo!
In other words, Sheldon makes a plan to date a girl so that Jenny could be jealous of him, and so by doing that, he can finally date Jenny instead. So that's cool. Sheldon goes to ask this girl if she wants to date him. Side note, she looks like a fucking lollipop.
Man, the fuck is up with this cake pop, bruh? This shit look like very heavy.
She rejects him at first, but after Sheldon offers to pay her $20 per hour, she accepts, of course. It just so happens that one of Jenny's ears, ponytail, whatever the fuck. Anyways, it just so happens that one of Jenny's that doesn't work properly. And so what follows is a montage that, I'm not gonna lie, is kinda cute. One day, Jenny finds out about Sheldon's relationship, and instead of being mad, she's actually inspired to go date this dude that kinda looks like Two-Man. Oh yeah, and that $20 per hour plan? Well, that causes Sheldon to sell pretty much everything from his house to the inventions he's done, and even his fucking clothing. And so both Sheldon and Jenny bring both of their partners to a restaurant. It goes bad, especially when Sheldon recognizes that Two-Man has one of his inventions as a gift to Jenny. After the horrible restaurant experience, Jenny eventually apologizes to Sheldon after she realizes that the invention was indeed from Sheldon. Then it cuts to a shot of the lollipop girl saying that geeks like Sheldon are like useless. And then she dies like 20 years later or some shit, and at the end. It's probably easily the weakest episode out of the 3 that I chose, but it's still a pretty good episode. I don't have much to say about this episode. It's just your typical dating episode, and it does its job as that. And also the fact that it's probably one of the funniest episodes of the entire show. It's got some really solid jokes in there.
I'm a boy! I'm a boy!
This is Sebastian. Oh my gosh, he's hot!
Oh my gosh, he's hot!
So let's move on to the conclusion. My Life as a Teenage Robot was a show that had a lot more potential than it had. But unfortunately though, Nickelodeon's SpongeBob milking addiction got to the best of it, and the show was cancelled in 2009. Which is really a shame because this show is probably in my top 5 best Nickelodeon cartoons of all time. Rob, if you're somehow watching this video, can you please make a reboot? Please, I fucking beg you to God, please. So yeah, My Life as a Teenage Robot was a show that existed. And that's all you needed to know. Okay, fucking bye, I guess.